Okay, hello everyone. I was going to go live on my computer, but my computer kept cutting out. So I'm really hoping that this connection stays alright. So I'm on my phone and it is in front of my computer now. Okay, so we are going to be chatting all about hormone balancing with essential oils this evening. There's a lot to cover. Okay, I can see that there's some people checking in. I don't know if I'll be able to see people's comments. But we will cover comments at the end, but do feel free to comment. So we're going to be covering a lot. I get a bit excited about this sort of thing, and then maybe there's a bit too much to cover. So we'll try and keep it to an hour. And yeah, if you have any questions, please do write them down as we go. I do have notes in front of me, otherwise I'm going to just forget what I want to cover, and I've got mum brain a little bit, so I want to make sure that I don't forget these things for you. Let's let that light in. Alright, so make sure that you have a pen and paper handy to take some notes. Maybe if you have doTERRA oils, maybe you want some In Tune Focus Blend. I've rubbed some on the soles of my feet and on the back of my neck. I've also inhaled some peppermint to keep me awake. I do have small children and a little baby, so a little bit tired and need a little bit of pepping up. Alright, so for those of you who don't know me, I am Kate Callahan. I run The Holistic Nutritionist. I am a holistic nutritionist, qualified dietitian from Australia. I live in New Zealand now. I'm also a personal trainer, and I specialise in hormone health, specifically women's hormones, which is something I never really saw myself doing when I was initially doing my study. The path that I thought I would take was more in the realm of mental health. That's what I was passionate about. But then as I was going through university, I had my own hormonal issues and really messed them up through my not so smart diet and lifestyle strategies, which ended me up in a state of hypothalamic amenorrhea, which basically meant my brain stopped communicating to my ovaries. I was infertile because I did too much exercise, I didn't eat enough for my activity, and I was a major stress head. So that's what I specialise in now, along with other women's hormone issues, which is fun. I love helping women sort out their hormones to make them happier, healthier, and get results, because really it all comes down to hormone health. Our hormones control pretty much everything in our body, and I'll go into that in a minute. But first I wanted to talk about the essential oils. Now, the essential oils that I'm going to be talking about and that I personally use and that I align myself with are doTERRA. Now, you don't have to. There's plenty of, well, there's a few really good essential oil companies, but I just encourage you to do your own research around that. The reasons why I chose to partner with doTERRA is because they are pure, they are potent, so less is more. You only need a tiny amount because they are so potent. For example, 1 drop of peppermint essential oil is equivalent to about 28 cups of peppermint tea, which is pretty amazing. Now, they're pure, so they're free of fillers, synthetic ingredients, chemicals. So the whole premise part of the premise for my using essential oils in my work and in my personal life was to get all the toxic crap out of my life that could have been impacting my hormone balance. So it wouldn't really make sense to choose an inferior brand that could potentially have harmful chemicals in it that could disrupt my hormones. Okay, so it made sense to get the most pure that I could find. I also wanted an essential oil company that sourced their essential oils from plants grown in their indigenous country, so where they're meant to grow. So for example, frankincense is grown in Somalia. Copaiba is from Brazil, and we know that the environment, the climate, the soils, they can have a huge impact on the outcome of the plant and the quality of the product. So for example, if I had a choice between having a mango that was grown in tropical North Queensland or a mango grown in Wanaka, where I live, Wanaka, New Zealand, I'm going to choose the mango from Queensland because that's where it's meant to grow. We can't grow mangoes here. It really breaks my heart, but we can't. It just doesn't happen. Okay? doTERRA is also really good with their co-impact sourcing, and what they mean by that is they support local farmers and really big on fair trade. This is in a nutshell. I'm not going to talk too much about this. And I really love all of their humanitarian work, especially their work with Days for Girls. And Days for Girls is all about providing feminine hygiene products for women in developing countries. So they have dignity, they have confidence, they have pride to get out in their community when they have their period, instead of being trapped into their homes. Okay, so do research. If you want to learn more about doTERRA, please feel free to message me. If you want to go and research other companies, go for it, but just make sure you're getting good quality, okay? Because that's really, really important. Do you like my little light here on my head? Little halo. Okay, so hormones. What do they do? What are they? So hormones are little chemicals produced in our body. They're like little chemical messengers, and they tell specific organs what to do. So we produce many, many hormones, and each has its own exclusive target organ that will respond to its messenger in a characteristic way. So for example, adrenaline and cortisol, they're produced in our adrenal glands. Our brain basically tells our adrenal glands when we're in a state of stress or in that fight or flight situation, and it prods the adrenal glands to release cortisol or to release adrenaline, which is then going to have the effect of increasing our heart rate and increasing the blood flow to our muscles and increasing our breathing rate to help us run away from the hypothetical tiger. Okay. Thyroid hormone, really responsible for all of our metabolism and heat and big role in fertility, and we're going to talk about thyroid tonight, and that's produced in your thyroid gland in your neck. Okay. Hormones have a role in menstruation, obviously, in fertility, in menopause, immune health, bone health, heart health, weight management, mood, skin, blood sugar regulation, you name it. Hormones are the thing. They control everything. They control our heartbeat. They control our lungs. They control our salt balance. Everything, okay? So if your hormones are messed up, then things aren't going to be looking so great. Okay, so some signs of hormone imbalance would be obviously menstrual irregularities, so things like amenorrhea, where you don't have a period, irregular periods, heavy or painful periods, PMS, headaches, and spotting through the cycle. And again, we're going to cover some of those. Low or no sex drive, so low libido, you'd rather clean the toilet than have sex. We're going to cover some essential oils for libido, which is exciting. Acne along the jawline or on the back, or bacne, sexy. Male pattern hair growth or balding, so when you see balding kind of around here. Inability to lose weight or excess weight loss for no other reason. Polycystic ovaries or polycystic ovarian syndrome as well. They don't have to be the same thing. Mood imbalances, things like anxiety, depression, irritability, snappiness, not normal. You don't have to accept it. Belly fat, so stubborn belly fat that won't go away despite, eating as healthy as you possibly can and training like you think you should be training. Blood sugar swings and excess cravings. Low immunity, so always getting sick. Sleep problems, so not being able to sleep through the night unless you have a small child waking you up. That's another story. Constipation, low energy, fatigue, brain fog, and freezing hands and feet, and a low basal body temperature. So they are all some signs that you might have a hormone imbalance. And when your hormones are balanced, it's kind of the flip of that. You'll be looking, feeling, acting amazing, okay? So you'll have this mental clarity, you'll have these stable moods, easy weight management, skin looking good, fertility, all sorted, okay? So now I want to jump into what we call endocrine disruptors. So endocrine disruptors are things that, basically what I mean by endocrine is hormones. So our hormone system is also called our endocrine system. All of our hormone glands, like our thyroid, our adrenal glands, our ovaries, they're endocrine glands, okay? They excrete hormones. They produce and excrete hormones. So endocrine disruptors are chemicals or products that can disrupt that hormone balance. They can disrupt our hormones. And we really, really need to know about endocrine disruptors. They're all over. So we need to know about them for optimal hormone balance. No matter who you are, we need to remove the things that are messing with our hormones, okay? They're hormone-altering chemicals found all around us. They can increase production of some hormones or decreasing production of others. They can imitate hormones. They can turn one hormone into another. They can interfere with hormone signaling, accumulate in organs that produce hormones. They're really, really no joke, okay? I'm going to have some water. I have to keep my water down there because I have destroyed 2 computers by knocking water all across it. Okay, so where will you find these endocrine disruptors? Pretty much everywhere. So in skin products, fragrances, cleaning products, healthcare, medicines, conventionally produced foods, plastics, pollution, They're everywhere. So one that you would commonly have heard about would be BPA, bisphenol A, and that's found in plastics, linked to cancers and reproductive issues, linked to obesity. Atrazine, that's a herbicide found in conventional produce. That can affect your hormones, so please think about buying organic produce or using the EWG Dirty Dozen and Clean 15 list. EWG.org is actually a really good resource for all about endocrine disruptors and getting safer chemical-free products into your life that aren't going to disrupt your hormones. Phthalates, things that you can find in personal care products and plastics. You especially want to avoid things like fragrance. And you might think fragrance and essential oils, yes, essential oils are fragrant, but when it's a fragrance found in a product that just has fragrance, that's going to be a synthetic chemical that could be a potential endocrine disruptor. Things called glycol ethers, they're common solvents in cleaning products and cosmetics. They can potentially damage fertility and the unborn child. Okay. And triclosan, which has been in the news recently, it is in most soaps, although I think quite a lot of companies are removing it because that has been shown to destroy gut bacteria and very harmful to the environment. And our gut bacteria is really important to our hormone balance as well. Okay. All right. So, how can essential oils help to balance our hormones? Tell me if I'm going too fast. Feel free to jump in. I think I'll see your comments pop up. So, in terms of how they can help to balance our hormones, first off, they're going to help us get all of these toxic products out of our lives. So they're going to replace all the toxic mainstream products that have the endocrine disruptors, and we replace them with recipes that use essential oils for their amazing properties. So, for example, if you've been following my page for a while, you would have seen that I make my own face serum, I make my own toner, I make my own deodorant, I make my own kitchen spray, carpet cleaner, air fresheners, you name it. I'm making it all with cheapo things that you buy from the supermarket, things like baking soda and vinegar, and adding essential oils to it, like lemon essential oil, which has these wonderful cleansing and purifying properties, or the doTERRA On Guard blend, which is known for its immune support. So it's really, really easy to make your own products with these essential oils, and cheap as well. So cheap, okay? So we're using the healing powers of nature. Different essential oils have different properties, and we're going to talk about some of them tonight. And you can use them to replace all of these products. You can use specific oils for certain conditions, and we're going to discuss those in a moment. And you're going to improve your health and save money in the long run. And plus, it's kinder to the environment. So you're going to be experiencing less packing waste, more recycling, less toxic products going to our plants and animals. So all of my products that I make, I always put them into other bottles that I've used previously. So for example, my face serum, I was using the brand Taylor Skincare, which I also highly recommend. It's a beautiful, beautiful New Zealand black brand. But I'm just using their old bottles just to open the top and pour in my little blend of essential oils and carrier oils, and you're good to go. Okay, so it's much kinder on the environment. Okay, so a few oils that, if you're thinking, I don't think I have any specific hormone imbalance, I just really want to avoid all these endocrine disruptors, and support my overall health, maybe support my family's health as well. So a big thing is, especially if you have, well, any kids, but daughters especially, young girls are getting their periods much earlier, and it is, they think, due to all of these kind of endocrine disruptors and the environmental estrogens that are found in things like plastics and air fresheners and sprays and deodorants and all sorts of things. It's not normal to be getting your period at 7 or 8. And so if you just want to overhaul your health and get the best that you can, I would start with something called the Home Essentials Kit in doTERRA. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about what oils are in that and what I use them for, just really quickly, and then we're going to go into more specific oils for specific conditions. I did have a lot of questions sent through, so hopefully we'll cover them. And if, again, write down any questions that you have or anything that you want clarified, because I may just kind of go over them a little bit. So I know some people wanted me to really delve into the science of it as well. And I will, as much as possible, But, you know, I could be here all night going into the science of just frankincense. So we might have to divvy it up and do another one just on specific conditions, I think. Okay, so what I'm using at the moment, well, I'm using a lot, but in terms of the Home Essentials kit and what's in it, so there's lavender essential oil. I'm using that for stress management, and we're going to talk about why stress management is key to overall hormone balance. If you are stressed, it doesn't matter how well you're eating, it doesn't matter how much you're exercising, it doesn't matter if you're sleeping really, really well. If you're stressing yourself out, then you're going to mess with your hormones. I might as well tell you now that we're into it. So when we are stressed, our production of cortisol from our adrenal glands increases. Okay, I'm getting little notifications. Our production of cortisol from our adrenal glands goes up. Okay, when our cortisol goes up, our sex hormone production goes down. So sex hormone production, say estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, that goes down. That's going to, if that happens chronically, that's going to create an imbalance in your hormones. At the same time, your brain's going to get the message that you're in this stress state, that fight or flight state, and it's going to say, okay, well, there's something happening here, we're stressed, there's a bit of a threat, so it's not an ideal time for reproduction. So we're going to slow down that production of sex hormones. We're also going to kind of monitor what's going on with the thyroid, and maybe kind of store everything away, so maybe slow our thyroid gland down. So stress has a huge role on hormone balance. It can also mess with your gut as well. Okay. So lavender for stress management, for sleep for me and my children. Again, if you're not sleeping, your hormones are going to be out of whack. For skincare, so I put lavender into my skincare. For calming, for stretch marks, for teething, and air freshener. I use frankincense all the time. So frankincense is also known as the king of oils. We'll talk about that, how it's important for hormone balance soon. Really good for mood boosting, anxiety reducing, inflammation reducing, energy boosting, skin healing. I use it for everything, but pretty much for anxiety I use it, and it's very effective. Digestin, so that's the doTERRA digestive blend, promotes optimal digestion, reduces bloating and sore stomach, decreases constipation, which was part and parcel of pregnancy. Fun times. And it's also related to hormone balances. So you would have seen something on my page earlier this week about sesame seed challenge. So where you have a tablespoon of sesame seeds in a big glass of water, you note down the time that you have it, and then note down the time when you see those sesame seeds in your poop. And if it's more than 24 hours, then that's an indication that you're constipated and need to sort it out, pun intended. Okay. I also used Digestin on Ed the other night. He had really bad wind. I had a sorbet, and apparently he didn't like that. He doesn't like me having chocolate either. So I put a teeny bit of diluted Digestin on his belly and on the soles of his feet, and he was asleep in 5 minutes after taking 2 hours of not wanting to go to sleep. Okay. Lemon essential oil, I use that a lot in cleaning. I use it in mood boosting. We'll talk about some research around that as well. It decreases anxiety, reduces constipation, aids concentration. Skin toning, water purification, household cleaning, supports detoxification. I wash my non-organic veggies in vinegar, water, and lemon essential oil. Ice Blue, that's more of your deep heat cream. So if you're active and you tend to use deep heat for sore muscles, Ice Blue is more of the non-toxic version. Peppermint essential oil, I had a whiff of this just before, and I will have another whiff now because it keeps me awake. It's amazing. Pepping up, peppermint for energy. Also used in household cleaning, air freshener, great for adding to raw foods, things like raw mint slice. If you can make all those delicious chocolate things and your children allow you to have those delicious chocolate things, mine don't. Can act as an antioxidant, aids digestive issues, decreases headaches, and supports the thyroid. Tea tree or melaleuca, really helpful for acne, immune support, household cleaning. Oregano, it's used in treatments of parasites and SIBO. This one I would say use only under the supervision and for short term. I think too many people use oregano willy-nilly, and it can actually cause damage to your gut bacteria if you use it for too long. Okay, so just be mindful that it's a really, really strong oil, and it's a hot oil as well, so you don't want to apply it neat to your body at all. Okay. Easy Air. Easy Air is the respiratory blend, and that's kind of my must-have in the house at all times. If Olivia has any sort of congestion, that's going in her diffuser, or anyone if they have congestion. It's the difference between her sleeping and not sleeping when she's congested, which is the difference between me sleeping and not sleeping. And then there's On Guard, which is a protective blend that's more of your keeping the bad bugs away, supporting your immune system. Okay, so specific blend of specific essential oils to help with certain hormone imbalances. We're on page 3 of 7. How are we going? 10 past. Do we have any questions yet? That's right. Save them to the end. Otherwise, I will get distracted. Okay, so again, if you're thinking, okay, I don't have any real specific hormone imbalances, but what can I really use to nourish my hormone balance, to nourish my hormone production and keep it kind of soldiering on? Okay, so for you, if you don't have those specific concerns, and if you do have specific concerns, this is for everyone really, you want to look at balancing and supporting your pituitary gland. So in our brain, we have something called the hypothalamus. That's kind of our master control gland, and that communicates to the pituitary gland, which is also in your brain, and your pituitary gland then communicates to the other endocrine glands around your body. So the pituitary gland controls the functioning of other endocrine glands. So it'll talk to your adrenals, it'll talk to your thyroid, it'll talk to your ovaries. So you really want to make sure that your pituitary gland is on point. It's being nourished, you're looking after it. So there's some really beautiful oils that you can use to support and to balance the pituitary gland. Number 1, the big one that you really want is frankincense. So frankincense is the king of oils, and they say if in doubt, use frankincense. It's such an amazing, amazing oil. It's a really rare oil as well, which is kind of reflected in the price. If you see a frankincense essential oil for like $20, that's not a real frankincense essential oil, or it is heavily diluted. It is not a pure essential oil. Okay, frankincense is expensive, but it's amazing. So, thanks to its, I'm going to be able to pronounce this properly, sesquiterpenes content. So this can go beyond the blood-brain barrier to stimulate the hypothalamus, that master gland, and the pituitary gland. Okay. The monoterpenes in frankincense can also protect and support the liver and kidneys in getting rid of those toxins. So we can't avoid all toxins in our environment. So we also want to support in our liver and our kidneys and our digestive system in eliminating those toxins that come through. Okay, so frankincense can help with that. Frank can also regulate estrogen production. So estrogen is your main sex hormone as a woman. Men have it too. I don't know if there's any men watching, but if you are, estrogen is important for you too. And frankincense is also wonderful for reducing inflammation, which is going to support overall hormone balance and especially any autoimmune conditions. So if you have inflammation in the body, that's going to affect the way that your hormone messages are heard. So your brain might send out these signals as chemical messengers, but if there's inflammation in the body, those organs might not be as receptive, so they might not hear the message and it might not get passed through, and so you won't get that effect that the brain wanted you to have. Okay, so you want to reduce all inflammation. With diet, you can reduce inflammation by avoiding packaged and processed foods, refined sugars, vegetable oils, and really eating a whole foods diet of lots of fresh veggies, fruit, good quality proteins, healthy fats, especially your omega-3 fatty acids. So from oily fish, they're really wonderful and anti-inflammatory in nature. And again, reducing stress and getting as much sleep as possible. I know there's quite a few mums watching right now and they're probably laughing and going, ha ha ha, sleep. Yeah, I'm with you. So do the best you can there, and just kind of nail every other thing that you possibly can. Another one that is wonderful for supporting the pituitary gland is ylang ylang. So that calms and strengthens the nervous system. So it prevents it from going into override. Okay. It also supports libido. So remember, I was going to tell you oils to support your libido, increase your sex drive. Ylang ylang is traditionally an aphrodisiac. And it's also been shown to decrease cortisol. So cortisol's your stress hormone, remember, and if that's chronically elevated, then your sex hormone production is going to be suppressed, and that's also going to lead to inflammation around the body. Another one that supports the pituitary gland is sandalwood. So sandalwood, really, really beautiful oil. It helps to balance the autonomic nervous system, so that's important for regulating bodily functions such as heart rate, breathing, digestion, and sexual arousal. And and it's been shown to create a more harmonized state and mood. So it's adaptogenic in nature, so it adapts to what your body needs at any certain time, and it can help to balance testosterone. So low testosterone, think sandalwood. And you might think of testosterone as kind of just a men's hormone. It is their predominant hormone, but women need it too. And I see low testosterone all the time in women, and that is going to affect how you feel, especially your libido. Okay. All right. What's the best way to use ylang-ylang and frankincense? So the best way to use ylang-ylang, personally, I like to use it in the diffuser. So when we diffuse essential oils and experience that aroma therapy, basically these essential oils, once we open a bottle, now you've got, what have we got here? Frankincense. So you open it. They're volatile compounds, which means you open that bottle and you can smell them coming up into the air. They hit your nose and they go into your limbic system. And your limbic system is your oldest system in your body and is responsible for controlling emotions. And that has a flow-on effect. It can cross into the blood-brain barrier, and it affects the autonomic nervous system and can affect your pituitaries, we just spoke about, which has that flow-on effect of affecting all of your hormones and all of your hormone balance. Okay, so yeah, so you can diffuse it. Ylang-ylang is probably one of my favorite essential oils in terms of the scent as well. So I actually use it as a fragrance. So you can use it topically. I would usually dilute essential oils in a carrier oil, so fractionated coconut oil, to help them be absorbed into the system and to help them last longer and to reduce any sensitivity, and also to not waste money. Less is more. Same with frankincense. You can diffuse it. You can apply it topically. I like to put it on my third eye here to help reduce anxiety. Frankincense, the doTERRA one, has been, they say you can use it for internal use. That's very much an individual thing, and I encourage you to do your own research around internal use of essential oils. We're not going to talk so much about that tonight. So mostly diffusing and topical use. Okay. All right, where were we? Okay, clary sage essential oil is a big one that you're going to hear me talk about on this call. Clary sage is kind of the queen oil. So clary sage, here we are. The queen oil of hormone balance for women. So it's really, really effective at balancing estrogen hormones. So your female sex hormone, balancing that estrogenic hormones. Supports the health of the uterus, thanks to the phytoestrogen content. It's, as I said, it's the top essential oil for hormone balance. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on. Geranium is also really wonderful for balancing hormones and regulating your cycle. It also has a soothing effect of calming emotions and helping you to de-stress. So doTERRA have a really amazing blend called Clary Calm, which is the women's monthly blend. And so this one has clary sage, lavender, bergamot, Roman chamomile, ylang-ylang, cedarwood, geranium, fennel, carrot seed, vitex, and palmarosa, and you'll hear me talk more about those later. But this is their women's monthly blend. Really, really wonderful for all sorts of period issues and all sorts of mood issues. So I use this every single morning on the inside and outside of my right ankle to correspond with the Vitaflex points of the uterus and the ovaries. So you can Google Vitaflex chart. I was going to show you if I was on my computer, but my computer didn't want to do the Facebook Live, so I can't share my iPhone screen. Okay, so Clary Calm, amazing, amazing. I've heard people rave about this one in terms of reducing period pain, reducing headaches, improving their mood so they don't become as snappy. This has really helped to balance my hormones in the postpartum period. I don't have a menstrual cycle right now because I'm breastfeeding two hungry children, so who knows when my menstrual cycle is going to come back. But yeah, really amazing feedback from this little baby. Clary Calm, it's a winner. Right, so we also want to be mindful of your emotions and how they can impact hormone balance. So remember I said stress is a major cause of hormone issues, especially the amenorrhea and fertility, as well as adrenal issues. So oils to support stress management would be that frankincense, lavender, in tune, So In Tune has sandalwood, patchouli, frankincense, lime, ylang-ylang, Hawaiian sandalwood, and Roman chamomile. Really beautiful blend. It's strong, but effective. Okay. So, when inhaled, as I mentioned before, they interact with our limbic system, which is responsible for regulating our emotions. Now, a study in 2014 found that inhalation of clary sage oil had the ability to reduce cortisol levels by 36% and improved thyroid levels. So now I've spoken about why it's important to regulate your cortisol levels, but we also want to nourish our thyroid in terms of overall hormone balance, and especially with fertility. So our thyroid controls our metabolism, controls reproductive function, and it's really, really important for growth and development. So if you have an underactive thyroid, then your fertility is directly going to be affected. Your periods are going to be affected. Your mood, you'll have low mood. You might notice you have dry skin. You might notice that weight loss is very difficult and you're noticing weight gain for no apparent reason. You might get brain fog. Just a few things with thyroid. So you really want to support your thyroid. And again, we're going to talk more about supporting your thyroid in a little bit. Coming back to cortisol again, another study showed that inhaling a blend of lavender, ylang-ylang, and bergamo's amazing, once daily for 4 weeks reduced cortisol levels, which is pretty impressive. Once a day, just lavender, ylang-ylang, and bergamot. And I think I might actually make my next fragrance with those, because they're 3 of my favorites. Another study showed that inhalation of lemon oil can reduce anxiety and depression by influencing dopamine and serotonin activity. So they're our neurotransmitters, which are really important for mood regulation. And lemon oil also appears to have adaptogenic effects on that autonomic nervous system. So really responding to what our body needs in that certain situation. And coming back to anxiety and depression and low moods, any citrus oils are going to be really effective for boosting your mood up. Okay. All right, I have a question. I get confused when people talk about balancing hormones. When you say a certain oil balances a hormone, does this mean it helps to up or down regulate? Oh, how am I saying it? Or can it do either, depending on what you need? Yeah, so essential oils won't force your body into something that it doesn't want to do. So it's going to support your body. It's going to support your body in what it needs. Okay, so they're not going to, although in saying that, it decreases cortisol, so but your body probably needs that. So most of them are adaptogenic in nature. They're not going to force something that's not going to happen anyway, if that makes sense. So for example, clary sage essential oil is it's contraindicated in pregnancy because it is more of a uterine tonic, but it's probably not going to force you to go into labor at, say, 28 weeks because your body's just not ready. But it is recommended for use later on at, say, 40 weeks when you're at your due date to help strengthen those contractions. Okay? And by the same token, and we're going to talk about amenorrhea in a minute, we'll talk about it now actually. So amenorrhea is a loss of period, so 6 months or more without a period. The most common form of amenorrhea that I see in my clinic is hypothalamic amenorrhea, which, as I mentioned before, is when your brain stops communicating to your ovaries as a result of too much exercise, not enough food, especially not enough carbs, too much stress, and being too lean, so not enough body fat on you. And you lose period because you've got pretty much no sex hormones. Your body's just gone, no, I'm in a state of famine, I'm stressed out, this is not ideal, let's just shut up shop right now, we're not going to make any babies. So the oils that I'm going to talk about for amenorrhea, they're what we say are emmenagogues. They're emmenagogic, so they may help to induce menstrual flow. But if you have hypothalamic amenorrhea and you're not doing the baseline things that you need to do, like eating enough, not smashing yourself in the gym, managing your stress, then you're probably not going to induce a flow because you probably won't be building up that healthy uterine lining to have a healthy flow. Okay, so it's going to support your body, but it's not going to force it. You need to do the groundwork as well. Okay, so those emmenagogic oils, which can help to induce menstrual flow, and so not to be used in pregnancy, are the Clary Calm, the doTERRA Clary Calm, basil essential oil, clary sage again, peppermint, rosemary, juniper berry, and marjoram. Okay. If anyone wants my notes after, I can always send them to you. Please do feel free to email me if you have any questions or concerns. My email is kate@theholisticnutritionist.com, or you can send me a private message on Facebook. I will get back to you eventually. If you have irregular periods, a few that can help with that. Again, Clary Calm, I've heard from a lot of people that that's helped to regulate the periods. Again, inside and outside of your right ankle, corresponding with the Vitaflex points for your uterus and ovaries. Peppermint essential oil can also help with irregular periods, and rosemary can also help with irregular periods. Polycystic ovarian syndrome. Not to be confused with just polycystic ovaries. If you have hypothalamic amenorrhea, it is also common to have polycystic-like ovaries. It doesn't mean you have polycystic ovarian syndrome. Please make sure that you are not misdiagnosed and that people check you properly for polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is not just cysts on your ovaries. You also want to look at things like your testosterone. So if your testosterone is too high, that's a key marker of PCOS. Insulin resistance issues is a common marker with PCOS, not always, but it is common. And you'd notice things like irregular periods as well with polycystic ovarian syndrome, fertility issues, acne, especially around the jawline and the back, that male pattern hair growth, the balding, hair falling out, and stubborn weight gain or inability to lose weight as well. So all signs of PCOS, please get checked properly, okay? A few oils that can help with polycystic ovarian syndrome. Wild orange essential oil, which is one of my favorites as well. I say that about all of them, don't I? So wild orange is, it's intoxicating. It's also the oil of abundance. So if you have any issues around money, get yourself some wild orange essential oil and into the abundance mindset, okay? All right, I'm looking at the computer camera thinking that you're there, but you're not, you're down here. Hello, sorry. So, PCOS, apply orange, frankincense, and basil mixed with grapeseed oil over the lower abdomen several times daily. You can use cinnamon and clove for blood sugar control. You can also use the doTERRA Smart and Sassy blend. So this one has grapefruit, lemon, peppermint, ginger, and cinnamon bark. That's also really good for sugar cravings. So if you do have that insulin resistance related polycystic ovarian syndrome and you notice that you get a lot of sugar cravings, Smart and Sassy is really good for that. All right. If you're noticing acne, tea tree is one that's been researched a lot in terms of helping that for spot treatment of acne. For hair loss associated with PCOS, you may want to try a daily scalp massage with thyme, rosemary, lavender, and cedarwood oils in a mix of jojoba and grapeseed. That's what's been shown in the research to improve hair loss. Again, you can diffuse basil essential oil. Basil is really potent and it's really wonderful for hormone balance. We're going to talk about it for other uses as well. You can also do a retention blend. So by that I mean you will mix 8 drops each of frankincense, lavender, and cypress with 1 tablespoon of carrier oil and apply it to a tampon and retain overnight. Moving on. Endometriosis. Alright, so a big one for endometriosis is, again, coming back to that geranium. So it can be really, really calming for women with endometriosis, geranium essential oil. You can also use 5 drops of geranium, frankincense, tea tree, cypress, and rosemary in about 30 ml of carrier oil. Apply it to your tampon and insert vaginally to retain overnight. Geranium, you can also apply it topically. And other ones useful would be cypress and clary calm. With endometriosis, I have a blog post, I think it's called All About Endometriosis on my blog. There are a number of dietary strategies you can look into as well. Coming back again to that whole foods diet, maybe even removing dairy from your diet, maybe even looking at a temporary low carb diet. Same with polycystic ovarian syndrome, you may want to temporarily look at a low carb diet. Hypothalamic amenorrhea, you do not want to look at a low carb diet. Please do not. Sandra says, I was under the impression that grapeseed oil was one of the refined seed oils to avoid. Is this not the case? Good question. Really good question. Ingestion? Yes, definitely. But if you get a good quality organic one, a cold pressed one, you can use it topically. But if you don't want to use it, you can use whatever oil you want, whatever carrier oil you want. Fractionated coconut oil is really good for increasing absorption. But topical use is fine, just don't drink it, please. Okay. Painful or heavy periods. So again, coming back to that clary calm for painful periods. Clary sage, so the main ingredient in that clary calm, again, that kind of queen of hormone issue things, clary sage, beautiful. It's especially helpful in relieving painful menstruation, menstrual cramps. A randomized controlled trial, double blind, which is kind of the gold standard, it's been proven, study showed that a daily abdominal massage with a combination of lavender, clary sage, and marjoram in a 2:1:1 ratio from the end of your last period to the beginning of the next period significantly reduced pain. Okay, so a combination of lavender, clary sage, and marjoram. So 2 drops lavender, 1 drop clary sage, 1 drop marjoram, and a little bit of fractionated coconut oil or whatever carrier oil you want to use from the end of one period to the beginning of the next to significantly reduce pain. Thyme essential oil has been shown to significantly reduce the pain and severity associated with menstruation. On the note of thyme, not really directly related to hormone balance, but it kind of is if you're not sleeping for the reason that your partner is snoring. If you have a partner who's snoring and you can't sleep, try thyme essential oil on the base of their big toes. So dilute it because it's a hot oil, but really, really effective. My dad is a machine at snoring, and my mum's been using this, and I honestly, I gave, well, she got it herself, but I thought, let's try this thyme essential oil for snoring. I didn't have high hopes because he's a terrible snorer, but it's actually reduced his snoring. It's amazing. He's like a freight train, but not anymore. Thyme essential oil, there you go, for snoring. Fennel essential oil can help reduce painful periods by relaxing the smooth muscle of the uterus. And for heavy periods, you want to massage your lower abdomen with 1 to 2 drops each of cinnamon, cypress, helichrysum, and geranium heavily diluted in your carrier oil 1 to 3 times a day. These might all sound like extensive protocols and going, it's too much. I guess that really comes back to how severe your symptoms are and how much you want to change them. Because in my view, I think some of them are actually pretty easy. And again, it's choosing those non-toxic options that aren't going to further impact your hormone balance. So, you know, if you've got really, really painful periods and you have a bit of cinnamon, cypress, helichrysum, geranium, clary sage oil that you can just massage on instead of popping some ibuprofen that's going to disrupt your gut balance and mess with your hormones even more, potentially, I know what I'd choose. Getting distracted there. Okay, so PMS. If you suffer from PMS, if you want to bite someone's arm off in that week before your period, again, coming back to clary sage, as it helps to balance out those estrogen levels, estrogen production. Frankincense, that king of oils, to help stabilize and support your moods, as well as bergamot, that beautiful bergamot, and lavender to support your emotions and calm. And peppermint if you notice you get headaches either before or during. So peppermint's really, really effective for headaches. A drop on your thumb and press it into the roof of your mouth. All right, moving on from periods for now. So adrenal issues. I did have a question about adrenal issues. So your adrenal glands sit on top of your kidneys and they control your, a few things, but your production of stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline, or also called epinephrine. They control your salt balance, blood pressure, and they also produce your sex hormones to a certain extent. Estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. They produce other things as well. I'm just kind of giving a little overview of them here. Alright, so geranium again can act as a tonic for the adrenal glands. Basil is really beautiful for supporting your adrenal glands, as are clove and rosemary. So rosemary decreases cortisol levels, basil reduces burnout and confusion, relieves anxiety and aids in stress management, and they're all kind of what we call nervines, so they support the nervous system. So for that, I would combine 5 drops each of, say, clove, rosemary, and basil. in a little roller bottle. So that's my little 10 ml roller bottle of basil, clove, and rosemary. And I just rub that on my adrenal glands in the morning, each morning. Some people do it at night, but some people find it a little bit energizing. So do it in the morning, see how you feel. Women with adrenal fatigue, I'm assuming that you're mostly women listening. Again, you can apply 2 to 4 drops of clary sage to your forehead or your wrists 1 to 2 times daily. If you're feeling low in energy, a simple trick is to put a drop of peppermint on the palm of your hand, rub it together, and then inhale. So cup it over your nose and over your mouth and inhale. Grapefruit essential oil to help block cortisol from stealing the precursors for sex hormone production, so something called the pregnenolone steal. So grapefruit essential oil, I'm going to read you something about grapefruit essential oil because I think all women should have grapefruit essential oil. So this is coming from Emotions and Essential Oils. Okay, so grapefruit essential oil is the oil of honoring the body. Listen, stay with me, okay? Grapefruit teaches true respect and appreciation for one's physical body. It supports individuals who struggle to honor their body and are caught in patterns of mistreatment. These forms of abuse may include severe dieting, judging one's body weight or type, and abusing the body through negligent behavior or violence. These acts are often motivated by hate and disgust buried within the psyche, which gets directed toward the physical body. Though the individual may obsess over how they look, deep down they never feel they look good enough. There is a dissatisfaction that persists. Grapefruit oil is often misused in overly strict dietary and weight loss programs. The reason this oil helps curb emotional eating is because it encourages a positive relationship with one's body based on love, tolerance, and acceptance. Grapefruit encourages integrity by respecting one's physical needs. This oil assists an individual in listening to their true physical needs and impulses. It also assists one in taking responsibility for what they feel. Grapefruit teaches that no amount of food can fill a hole in the heart. Only love can do that. As the individual takes ownership of their feelings and gets the help they need in addressing them, they no longer have a need to hide their feelings behind food, body abuse, strict regimens, eating issues, or other forms of obsession. Awesome, isn't it? Grapefruit essential oil. Get into it. Okay, let's move on. Thyroid issues. Thyroid gland in your neck. So you want to support that, as it's going to support all of your metabolism, going to support reproductive function, mood, energy. If your thyroid's suffering, you're really not going to feel good at all. So a few things that you can do. You can apply 8 to 10 drops of that wild orange essential oil on your feet, especially the thyroid Vitaflex point, which is underneath your right big toe. Massage that in once a day. For Graves or Hashimoto's, so more of those autoimmune conditions, frankincense for regulating that inflammation. Getting out all of the junk foods as well, really whole food diet. In terms of oils, you might want to use lemongrass has been shown to be effective. You dilute it and apply 1 to 2 drops on the thyroid area, or the reflex points on your feet, so underneath that right big toe. Myrrh is another one that's wonderful for thyroid support, those autoimmune conditions. And if you have hypothyroid, so overactive thyroid, you might want to look at more of your calming oils like cedarwood. Hypothyroid, again, so that underactive thyroid, 1 drop of lemongrass and 1 drop of peppermint or clove, and apply to the thyroid and the Vitaflex points on the feet. We're almost there. I don't know how much longer I can talk you for. Okay, infertility. So with all hormone balance, but also especially with infertility, one, to get your body in the most optimal state for, I don't know what I just did, press the button, for increasing fertility and enhancing your chances of conception, but also for making sure that you have these nutrient stores available for when you do conceive. You want to get all the nutrients into your body. You want to get a good quality prenatal or a good quality multivitamin. The one that I recommend personally now, and the one that I use, is the doTERRA Lifelong Vitality Pack. So that's got your food-based multivitamin. It's got your omega-3 complex. Omega-3 fatty acids are really important for brain development in the baby, and also for preventing baby brain in mum. Also got a lot of antioxidants that are going to stop those fish oils from going rancid. and it's got something called alpha CRS, which is really, really wonderful for reducing inflammation. I was reading the other day about a woman who'd used it to reduce her, I think it was MS or Parkinson's. Just that alpha CRS had helped improve her Parkinson's or MS. Sorry, I can't remember the exact details. But it was pretty amazing. But you can use any good quality multi that you want. So a few others that I like would be Thorn Research, Megafood, and Innate Response, just to name a few. In terms of omega-3 fatty acids, I like Nordic Naturals. I also like Rosita cod liver oil, which is going to give you vitamin A and vitamin D as well. Just make sure you're not having too much of that. We do need vitamin A during pregnancy, but we don't want too much. Again, I've done a blog post all about vitamin A in pregnancy. So for infertility, again, coming back to clary sage, that has been studied in the research. Always work with a practitioner on this one, please. Apply 2 to 4 drops of clary sage to the lower abdomen and mons pubis 2 times a day, and apply 1 drop of clary sage to the inside and outside of the right ankle. Again, that Vitaflex point with the ovaries and the uterus. Thyme essential oil has been shown to help with the production and modulation of progesterone. So progesterone, think progestation. We need adequate levels of progesterone to help with fertility. If you don't have adequate levels of progesterone, then you're going to have trouble maintaining a pregnancy. You can see if your progesterone levels are adequate through a blood test on that day 21. But you can also, if you're tracking your temperatures, which I also recommend people do, women, all women, even if you're not trying to conceive, I think it tells you a lot about your reproductive health, is to track your temperatures, your basal body temperature. So as soon as you wake up in the morning, stick a thermometer underneath your tongue before you drink, before you eat, before you move. Ideally, you've been in bed all night or most of the night and haven't moved recently. Stick that thermometer under there, take your temperature, record it in an app. So I like the Kindara app. And then over the month, it's going to give you a little chart. And so it'll show you, basically, ideally, it'll show you what's called a biphasic pattern. So first half of the cycle will be down here. It'll be up and down, but it'll be here. Second half of the cycle, it jumps up. So after ovulation, your temperature should jump up. And that's because you have ovulated and progesterone is being released, and that warms your body up. Okay, so you want to see that jump, and that should stay up for around 14 days. If it's less than about 10 days, that's something called luteal phase defect and is generally an indication of low progesterone. That's a really quick run over of tracking your temperatures. Again, if you have a look through my blog, I'm pretty sure I've got a post on basal body temperature tracking. All right, coming back to fertility. For men, cinnamon bark essential oil is delightful, and it may increase sperm motility and quality, according to animal research. Please, if you do have issues with fertility, always make sure that your partner is on board with everything that you're doing and they're doing it too. Even if you've established that it is something in relation to you that's that you're having fertility issues with, you need their support. And hopefully they've been checked out. Hopefully they've had their sperm tested, because it could just as easily be their issue that's not that's having that impact on your inability to conceive. Okay, so cinnamon bark. Low libido. That was really brushing over fertility. Obviously, there's a lot of things that you can do for fertility, but in terms of essential oils, they're the ones that I recommend. Okay, so thyme, clary sage, cinnamon bark, and that good quality supplement range. Low libido, ylang ylang. So remember we said that that's the aphrodisiac and helps to increase libido. There is a doTERRA Passion blend, the Inspiring blend. So it's wonderful for creativity, but also really wonderful for libido. So that has your cardamom, cinnamon, ginger. Oh, they haven't given me the English names of these here. Jasmine, vanilla, and turmeric, I think. Beautiful blend. Okay, and sandalwood, as I said. So sandalwood helps to increase those natural testosterone levels. Sorry, and testosterone is really important for libido. Stress management is also really important for libido. Menopause. Someone asked me about menopause. Again, clary sage. I sound like a broken record, but clary sage is your friend when it comes to hormones, due to its ability to regulate estrogen. So you want to apply that 2 to 3 drops to your forehead, to your carotid arteries. just here, your lower abdomen, and your back 1 to 3 times a day. Sandalwood, again, to regulate testosterone and libido. That can go a bit wonky in menopause. And peppermint, 1 drop to the tips of your ears, temples, and back of neck if you're experiencing hot flashes. And again, stress management. Broken record. Simplest stress management technique that you can do is deep belly breathing. That tells your brain automatically to get into that rest, digest, and reproduce mode. So don't ever think you don't have to go and sit in a ashram in India and meditate for 5 hours a day to manage your stress. Meditation's amazing, but just start with deep belly breathing. As soon as you wake up in the morning, place your hands on your belly, take a deep breath in through your belly. As you inhale, feel your belly rise. As you exhale, feel your belly fall. Okay, that's the fastest way to get out of that stressed state. All right, during and after pregnancy I was asked about. So during, I wouldn't really use essential oils during pregnancy to modulate sex hormones. They're kind of doing their own thing, so you don't really want to mess with that. Clary sage, again, is probably contraindicated in pregnancy. Again, you want to ensure that really good nutrient status with that good quality multivitamin, whole food diet, minimal stress, good quality fish oils and omega-3 fatty acids, sardines if you like them. I'm yet to do my sardine challenge, I will. But you can help to support your overall hormone balance through supporting HPA axis, so your hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, with more gentle oils like frankincense, lavender, and ylang-ylang, so to modulate that stress response and help keep things on an even keel. And again, getting out all of those potential endocrine disruptors that we spoke about at the start, because they will, if they're going into your body, they're going to cross the placenta and they're going to get to the baby. There have been studies that have shown in their cord blood, so many chemicals in babies' cord blood these days, because of all the chemicals in our environment. It's crazy. It is really crazy. So do what you can to get out those endocrine disruptors and replace them with non-toxic products using your essential oils. After pregnancy, so many you can use. So a few that I've been using after this pregnancy. Number 1, again, Clary Calm. As I mentioned at the start, it helped to really stabilize my moods. First pregnancy after I had Olivia, I struggled with my moods and went into a bit of postnatal depression. This time I felt so much better, and definitely putting it down to my use of essential oils, as well as being a second-time mum and lowering my expectations a lot, and having a cruisy baby as well. I do use essential oils with Ed, my baby, just chamomile and lavender and frankincense, just really gentle oils as he's still quite young. So Clary Calm every day. You can have to be mindful of peppermint essential oil when you're breastfeeding, as it can decrease your milk supply. Basil essential oil can be used to increase milk supply, and it can help support your adrenals to deal with those late nights as well. So sleep support. Oh, saying I'm full. This might be cutting out soon. I will finish up very soon. So sleep support, doTERRA lavender peace is amazing. Lavender, frankincense, vetiver. I like to call vetiver my Valium. I have a blend of vetiver, lavender peace, and balance. So balance is a grounding blend that I put on the soles of my feet every morning to keep me grounded. That blend I put on my feet every night to help me sleep, and really, really wonderful for helping me to get back to sleep after breastfeeding, because I have to get up. That's inevitable. I have to get up. I'm not going to have a full night's sleep just yet. I might, but probably not anytime soon. So I have to support my body in getting back to sleep as quickly as possible, and vetiver is one that helps with that. So I feed Ed, I get up, go to the toilet and have a whiff of vetiver, go back, knock myself out. Not literally, but you know, the oils knock me out. Post-pill balancing, again, anything that's going to get rid of those excess toxins, so all mentioned above, replacing the chemicals. Clary sage or Clary Calm for estrogen metabolism, and thyme and sandalwood for bringing up progesterone and testosterone. And again, coming back to that nutrient status. So the pill depletes nutrients and it messes with your gut health. So getting a good quality multi, so that lifelong vitality kit from doTERRA, or another good quality multi, and some good quality probiotics to replenish your gut bacteria. Fermented foods, sauerkraut, kombucha, kimchi, all of those wonderful things. And then finally, for teenage girls, Kyles, I didn't forget about you. Again, anything that's going to support the pituitary gland. So your brain, when you're young and going through puberty, your brain is still trying to communicate appropriately to your ovaries. It's still trying to figure everything out. So anything that you can do that can support the pituitary gland in doing that is going to be wonderful. So frankincense, geranium, sandalwood, ylang ylang. And then again, coming back to that clary calm and or clary sage to help with any issues such as heavy periods, painful periods, and mood imbalances as much as possible. Honestly, I'm not looking forward to the puberty years with Olivia, but who knows, maybe these oils will help me out. I hope they will help me out, because she is strong-willed, man. Alright, that was a lot. I think I'm going to have to break them up and cover things more in depth with more diet and lifestyle strategies. Any questions? If you do have any questions, or if you want to know how to get doTERRA essential oils, please shoot me a message. So when you join my oily tribe, which I would love for you to do to help get all this crap out of your life and help support your hormone balance, you will get my support, my ongoing support when you join my tribe. So you'll have these beautiful oils, and then we'll be part of this beautiful community, and you can say, hey, I've got this hormone imbalance going on, what oils should I use, how should I use them, and we will connect and communicate ongoing so you get the most out of them all the time. Okay. Alright. Or you can have a look at my blog as well. There's more details on how to join doTERRA and why you might want to. If you just search doTERRA, DOTERRA on my blog, you'll find a bunch of stuff there. Alright, if there's no questions, I'm going to go to bed. Last chance. Speak now, forever hold your peace. It was a lot. I think I'm going to break it up and do some more niche webinars. So if there's anything in particular that you'd like me to cover, if you have any burning questions, so maybe we'll work on doing like maybe a thyroid webinar that's going to cover everything. Not just essential oils, but diet, lifestyle, adrenals, fertility, amenorrhea, all of that, because there's different protocols for all of them, not just in the oils, but in terms of lifestyle strategies as well. All right, everyone, thank you for tuning in. I hope that has helped, and shout out if I can help you out. Bye-bye.